All right, Mary.
All right.
So my first question is the same question I first asked Nigel. After tonight's Jenna, I mean, I know Haley's amazing, but after Jenna's performance tonight, how could she go home after that? I just think that was like one of the performances we will all remember of this season.
You're right about that. I think we're definitely going to see that in the finale again, and I do believe it was one of the best performances we're going to see all season, and I think it was one of the quirkiest, fun choreography numbers that we've had all season. So, yeah, it was like salt on an open wound, wasn't it?
Yes, I know. It's always easier if they didn't do as well last performance, but to be that great and then you're like, no.
Yeah, but let's face it, they were all great, though, weren't they? So they're all amazing dancers, so it is going to be hard. She did fall down to the bottom more than she wasn't. Haley, it's her first time down, so I think only because of that, she was just inched out. But again, everybody cringed back there. Everybody was like, Jenna or Haley, honestly, and I think actually the female vote was even taken twice to make sure that we got it right, and Jenna couldn't even make up her mind, as to cast a vote even. So it was a toughie, and doggone it.
Yeah.
We don't like this part of it, and I don't think we're going to like next week what's going to happen.
And Haley's amazing. So I think what's difficult is, some seasons it's kind of like, that one's a little bit better and they should go through. But this season, I think it's not like there's one standout. This whole group is a standout. So each week has been difficult. And I'm sure it's really hard for you. Like when you leave the show and you watch it back and you kind of like vegetate, does it sink in like, oh, we just sent somebody home? Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, it sinks in immediately because when they show those packages, when you watch the package of Jenna dancing and Tucker dancing, you see the tremendous talent that they are, and you just start shaking your head, and then you start getting this just awful pit in your stomach like, oh my God, everybody did the wrong thing, or how could they vote and, drop them and put them in danger even. You just go, ah.
Yeah. Next week's exciting. They're doing 2 performances. One, they're going to be pulling from a hat.
He knows more than I do. I had no idea.
Oh, it's always Nigel. He says he's not going to tell, but we sneak it out of him in our interviews. So next week they're gonna do tell the audience that's not as familiar with dancing as you are maybe. They're going to be reaching in a hat, pulling out, and getting a style and a partner, and have 2 performances. How difficult is that as a dancer to keep that energy level throughout a show?
Well, it is hard to keep the energy level up. I think they know they're so close to the finish line right now. That in itself will give them the adrenaline power that it takes because let's face it, these bodies are starting to break down. They're starting to have more and more injuries, but adrenaline will let them get through that door. They have all worked so very, very hard for this. You got to hope that the emotional exhaustion does not take over, and then that lactic acid starts just flowing in those muscles. So with 2 numbers, you really hope that doesn't, because it's really more than 2 numbers now, isn't it?
Yes.
They're doing 2 numbers. They got to do their solo, and they got to do a group number as well. So it starts compounding here towards the end. But that's also part of this whole test, isn't it, as well? Besides the artistic value and the amazing athleticism of these dancers, it's also about stamina and who is, survival of the fittest right now.
Absolutely. Last quick question. So let's say the hot tamale train. You're of course you're the conductor driving it.
Nigel's in the caboose. No.
Nigel, you're all the way in the caboose. Who would be your sidekick? Who would you want to sit next to you?
Who would I want to sit next to me as a dancer?
Anybody on the planet. Anybody alive, dead, anybody.
Justin Timberlake. Come on,
Justin.
Sit in the train with me.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. Justin Timberlake, you have a new gig. I know you're doing the VMA stuff this weekend, but you're also driving the hot tamale train with
That's
you.
right.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Before you go, can we get it?
Here first.
Yes. Before you go, can you do a little spin with a little ruffle?
I can.